Hey, now for a piece on a location that we visited multiple times here on YCN. The Fells, also known as the Hay Estate, was originally the home of John Milton Hay, a 19th century American statesman who bought and used the Newberry property as a summer home to get away from the stress of working down in Washington. Today, it's a wildlife refuge and is run and maintained by a group of volunteers as well as garden and administrative staff. The Fells landscaping director sat down with YCN recently to give an overview about what the Hay Estate has to offer during these beautiful summer months.
Well, the Fells is a historic estate and gardens that once was the summer retreat for John Hay, the former Secretary of State. He was Secretary of State for Theodore Roosevelt, and maybe more importantly for some people, he was the personal secretary to Abraham Lincoln when he was quite young. A serious statesman's life, and this was his summer retreat for at least 2 months every summer after it was built in 1891. We became the Fells when we purchased a portion of the property that consists of the buildings and the gardens and some of the trails and things like that. During the summer, our summer here in New Hampshire is short enough, so we try to put as much into it as we can. Taking care of the gardens and opening to the public is part of what's done on a daily basis here. There are other programs such as the sculpture exhibit that bring in artists from around the region, New England and further away. We've had an artist come up here from Virginia a couple of years in a row. Anywhere from 24 to a dozen and a half sculptures spread out throughout the property. There are other, and the trail system here, there's several trails on our property and on the wildlife refuge land, and then across the road on what was the bulk of the estate, the original 1,000 acres. The bulk of it is across the road, and it belongs to, and is maintained by the Society for the Protection of New Hampshire Forests. It's a good program, and it's some of the things that are really highlighted here during the summertime. And those are some of the programs that we offer. As far as visits are concerned, I mean, I recommend to everyone who does come to come out more often. This garden changes drastically. The landscape changes. Each garden has different development through the year, but the garden behind me, the rock garden, is an early season garden, and it shows the life early in the spring. In fact, I know that there are some plants that only I get to see, and my assistant. It's the same. We get to appreciate the gardens early in the season, and I'd love to see more people here earlier. But I'd like to see them come back frequently. There are several members that do exactly that. I see them 4 or 5 times a summer, and they're really getting the most out of it. And there are other gardens that are really known for their show much later in the season. We have some perennials. That perennial bed is particularly a late season garden. And some of the plants in there bloom at about 6 feet tall. It takes a little while for the plants to get that size, so it's going to be a late season garden. And the same thing goes for the old garden. There are really quite interesting plants that really don't do much until the very end of the season, some even into October. So I would recommend that people come as often as they can. Become members. It makes it that much easier. And if you're interested in it any further, become a volunteer.
Hey, if you'd like to experience the amazing landscape and natural beauty for yourself over at the Fells, the gardens and trails are open year-round to the public from dawn to dusk for members and from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for non-members. The Fells is located, as we said, in Newberry, New Hampshire, off of Route 103A. Make sure you take a walk around the grounds at some point in the near future. You certainly will not be disappointed.